Hello, welcome back to my channel. I'm your girl, Sincerely KSO. If it's your first time to my channel, welcome. And if you're a returning subscriber, welcome back, my honeys. Thank you so much for joining me again today. We've got a requested reaction, and this is by The Who, My Generation. First time listening to the song. Play.
People try to put us to down, talking about my generation, just because we get around. Talking about my generation, things they do look awful. Talking about my generation, I hope I die before I get old. Talking about my generation, this is my generation, baby. Why don't you all fade away? Don't try to dig what we all say. I'm not trying to cause a big sensation. I'm just talking about my generation. My generation. This is my generation, baby. Don't you all fade away? Yeah, don't try to dig what we all say. I'm trying to cause a big sensation, just talking about my generation. This is my generation. This is my generation, baby. My generation. People try to put us to down, talking about my generation, just because we could get around. My generation, things they do look awful cold. Generation, I hope I die before I get old. My generation, my generation, baby.
Who's that?
Generation.
I wonder what was going on. If you have a little bit of insight as to what was going on in the music video, please let me know. There was a much older man who came out to the window. Who was that? Why were they being arrested? I know I could see that there were protests going on, but I didn't see, there wasn't enough time to read any plaque or posters to what they were, speaking up against. Usually there's signs and they were like, oh, end racism or end the war. And I could get a clue as to what was going on, but I didn't see anything. So please let me know in the comment section if you have a clue. The song talking about my generation still, if I was to sing a song about that's exactly what I would say. It seems to be talking about their own time and the difficulties and the rules attached with to their livelihood, to their not making a living, but to just living in general, right? There were so many there were so many things they said. The lyric says, people try to put us down because we get around, talking about my generation. So it seemed like he was growing up in a judgmental era. And we also are growing up in a judgmental era. Things, they do look awful cold. I remember when he stammered, that was a good throw in. I hope I die before I get old. This is my generation. This is my generation. Why don't you all fade away? Talking about my generation, and don't try to dig what we all say. I'm not trying to cause a big sensation. I'm just talking about my generation. So he's not trying to create an uproar. He's just saying that let us do what we want to do. Don't try to impose the rules that worked with your generation to ours. I think that's what he's trying to say. But if it's different, please let me know in the comment section. One thing I feel I agree with is every generation feels that they are wiser than the ones before. And in some respect, it's true, but in others, it isn't really. They say history repeats itself. I think there are certain principles that my generation used to survive that the next generation should also be willing to at least embrace. Like, the human race is changing with regards technology, but there are certain principles with regards character, good morals that are repetitive. They're not going to change. It's never going to be a nice thing to steal. It's never going to be a respectful thing to push an elderly person down. You know what I mean? So there's certain principles that while you're not really pulling out chairs for ladies or opening doors for ladies or letting the older person in the bus sit down, those principles will not, for me, and I hope for my sons, I'm going to educate them, will not change. So the generation coming after can also lean on the advice of the generation before, I think. But I think he was also talking about the difficulties that they face. They face a lot of judgment and ridicule. Maybe they were not taken seriously, oh, those boys on bikes, they must be criminals. And it's not the case, right? Let me know in the comment section. Don't forget to subscribe, my honeys. Please do so. Help me get my numbers up. We're almost at 80,000 subscribers. Thank you so much. On to the next song.